In order for this next little selection to make sense, if you haven't read the books, or like millions of other people in the world, or as my friend Frank once said, I said, there's millions of people who haven't read my books, and he said, well, actually, it would be billions. I thought that was a little too honest. But if you're not familiar, I'm going to reference a character, not a character, he's my neighbor. I've known him ever since I was this big, but I'm going to reference a fella in this little paragraph I'm about to read, a guy we call Bob the One-Eyed Beagle. Bob's a butcher, and the short version of the story, I got a 20-minute version of this story, but the short version is that Bob is severely cross-eyed. And when I say severely, that one eye is not just a little bit off, it's shot. If his good eye is looking due south, that other eye is looking due east. And when I describe him at speaking events, depending on the makeup of the audience, it gets a little tense in the room. And I've even had people come up to me afterwards and say, it's very insensitive how you describe the fact that your friend is cross-eyed. And my only response to them is, he's aware. He's checked it out in the mirror and everything from both angles. Plus, he's the guy, and everybody in this room knows this guy. That eye is the least of his problems. This is a guy, he's got one eye, one kidney, and two ex-wives, both of whom work at the only gas station in town. So he's got to run 9 miles south down to Bloomer every morning for gas, coffee, and chew, because they ain't serving him at the home place. So one of the things that happened, when I moved back to my hometown, I was not the same guy as when I left. I left a farm kid and a kind of a football player, and I came back a long-haired, soft-handed writer, and I had a nursing degree, and I was always going off to modern dance recitals and poetry readings, and so I had to kind of work hard to make sure that I was still allowed on the fire truck, and so this is just a quick little scene from the book. You create a fire department out of citizen volunteers, you're going to get some characters. A while back, we had a car fire during the day. The siren went off, and when we converged at the hall, there were exactly 4 of us. The assistant chief, who left his small engine repair business unattended. Beagle, the cross-eyed butcher. Lane, a lean, wiry man who lives to ride rodeo bulls. And then there was me. Lane recently had the muscles of his right forearm stripped from the bone in a factory accident. His arm is splinted, his hand feels nothing. We head out into the country, find the fire, put it out. Afterward, we joke with the chief about how he got stuck on a command consisting of 1 firefighter with 1 eye, 1 firefighter with 1 arm, and 1 firefighter who became the first volunteer in village history to miss the monthly meeting because of a poetry reading.